Hi guys, it's Misty. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have a really fun card to share with you this week. I am making a card for my Aunt Sandy, who I have not seen in several years. This is for this week's Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. And our challenge this week is Make It Sparkle, and we are showcasing products from Stamping Bella. So I'm using the stamp set called Curvy Girl with a Diamond, and I had a really fun idea of how to make the diamond stand out. So I'll show you when I get there. So I'm starting out on some Express It blending card because I'm going to be Copic coloring my cute little gal here. So I'm using my Misty, and I'm actually didn't even realize at this point that this is a rubber stamp and I still have my mat in there. So I was actually really surprised that it stamped well. So the first time I stamped it, I stamped it with the mat in, and then you'll see I'll realize what I did, the error of my ways, and then I'll take the mat out. So I'm stamping her up with some also Copic friendly ink, which is the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And here's where I realized that's not gonna work. It stamped fine. Like I said, I was really surprised, but want to use it right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it a second time so I get a nice crisp image. And here is this beautiful holographic cardstock from Simon Says Stamp that I'm using to make my diamond. It comes in a pack of 5 sheets, I believe. Actually, no, it's a pack of 6 sheets that you get, and they have really cool names. So it says the designs that are included are confetti, crackle, double pillar, lava, rainbow, and silver grooves. Those are kind of nifty names for them, but I really like this one. I thought it would be perfect for the diamond. So I just cut out a 2-inch strip here, and I'm going to stamp it on the paper, just a diamond. And this is when I realized I stamped it with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and that's not going to stick to this. So I went and got my StazOn black ink, and I'm going to stamp it with that. Yeah, so this just wiped away. I just actually I left it there for a while I was doing this whole process, and even while I cut it out, and then I just wiped it off with my finger because it was still wet. So you got to use the StazOn. I'm going to stamp that twice. It's a stamp set. The lines are very thin on it, which is great. I mean, it makes a perfect stamp set, but I wanted to make sure you'd be able to see the lines on or through the holographic paper. So then I'm just going to paper piece it. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the diamond, and you're going to get 2 sections. That little tiny triangle in the bottom, and then her arm goes across the diamond, and then you'll get the top part of the diamond. And I just cut as close to the line, the stamped line, as I could get. So I'm just making sure that it's going to fit and that I got it close enough to the line. And then I'll quickly cut out the rest of the diamond. It's very easy to cut out since the lines, it's just straight lines basically. I'm going to go around the edges with my Memento Tuxedo black marker. And that way, if there's any imperfections in my fussy cutting skills, this will mask it. Now I left the Copic coloring in just because it's kind of what I've been doing lately, and I really love how she turned out. So I tried out a couple skin tones off camera, and I forgot to put that first ink lid down, but it was E13. So I'm going with the E00, E11, and E13 that you see at the bottom of my paper here. And then R20 and R30 a little bit for the cheeks. And each section I'm going to go over twice. I think it just, I don't know, it just blends the colors better in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the skin first. And I'm not a great person to talk to about shadows. I kind of just do it where I think it's supposed to go. And I did watch a couple videos on Copic coloring skin so I could kind of see the best way to do it. Every time I color, I have to reassure myself that I can do it. I really, really want to practice my colored pencils though. That's one thing that they intimidate me for some reason. And I see people make these beautiful flowers with the colored pencils. I just want to be able to use my colored pencils. They look great on the craft cardstock, but I haven't been brave enough to give it a try. I need to do it. I'm going to do it. So I did learn in one of my Copic classes I took to kind of add some shadows around the knees so it looks like she actually has knees. And then I'm going to go over everything a second time, and it just darkens everything up a bit. You certainly don't have to do that. I mean, I think it looks fine on the first coat, but I just think it looks more polished with a second coat. And of course, you got to have the shadows up underneath the dress and her ankles as well. And I wanted to use this pattern paper or this one. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use yet, so I was trying to find some colors that would match both papers, so because I wanted her dress to match. So I thought R85, 83, and 81 were a pretty good match for both of the pattern papers I wanted to use. So once again, I'm starting out with my darkest color, the R85. I'm just going along where I think the shadows might be. I go to the R83 and just kind of extend the shadow areas a little bit. It's not, well, yeah, I guess it's extending it. It's just filling in the white space a little bit more. And then R81 for my final color. And I also go over the darkest color with the lightest color as well. And that lightens it up sometimes depending on how much alcohol is in the marker you're using. So that's another reason why I like to go over it again, because it lightened it up quite a bit when I went over it. Or you just don't go over it. Just depends on how you want to do it. I like to do it because it just seems to make it blend better. But, you know, everybody has their own way of doing things, so there's not one right or wrong way to do it. Maybe, okay, I'm gonna try to use my colored pencils on a challenge coming up. I'm gonna challenge myself to do that. So for her hair, I'm using E57, E55, and E51. And I try to show as much as I can, but my hand gets in the way a few times, which is okay because I'm not great at hair. I try. I do my best, you know? That's all I can do. And I am happy with how it turned out, but I started really light on the darkest color just because I didn't want to overpower it with the darkest color. I didn't necessarily want her to have dark hair. I wanted it to be, you know, kind of a light brown. So you can see I kind of started really light on that E57, and then I extended it a little bit with the E55, and then extend it even more with the E51. And then I'm going to go back over it and extend the darkest color a little bit more. Try to make my flicks look better. You know what I noticed too is it's good to practice on, you know, a scrap of paper, your flicking motion before you do hair. Because when you jump right into it, sometimes, well, for me at least, it doesn't turn out the greatest. And I always forget that when I'm doing this, so I need to remember that. So going over it again here, and just extending some of those colors. The bottom part of the hair was a little more challenging because I can't flick in a circle. So I'm trying, you know, again, doing the best I can. Happy with how it turned out. But I think if I did it more often, I would get better at it, but that's okay. Yeah, so I think it's been about 10 years since I've seen my Aunt Sandy, who is my mom's sister. She lives in Florida now, and you know, she's got health problems. I have health problems, and I haven't seen her since she moved, which is very unfortunate. And I just wanted to let her know I was thinking about her, especially now when, you know, I'm not really seeing anyone these days. So I did the R85 and R81 on the flowers in her hair, and I kind of wanted to match that peachy color on the pattern paper you see on the left. That's why I brought in the YR01 and YR00. And I'm just trying to blend the colors the best I can. And see, and like I said, the more you go over it, the better it blends, in my opinion. There's a little bloom kind of hiding there. Oh yes, there's Trigger. He's got to come make his presence be known. So I'm trying to get that little bloom behind the green leaves there. And then I'll move on to the big green leaf. Yeah, I just used G46 for all the little tiny leaves because they were just too tiny to do two colors, and then G43 for the lighter color on the bigger leaf. V01 and V00 for the little V01 and V000 for the ruffles here on her dress. And I forgot to turn my notifications off on my computer. Sorry about that. Now I'm going to quickly fussy cut out my curvy girl here, who isn't really curvy at all, but she is curvier than the regular Stamping Bella girls. So these are a lot of fun to color just because you have a little bit more to work with. I love these images. I love the curvy girl images. I love that there's more skin to color. So I just added a little Y19 to the center of that big flower. And now I'm gonna glue my diamond in place. Love how this turned out. I think it looks so cool in the light. No matter how you turn it, you get these really cool reflections in it. And I'm glad I went around the edges with the Memento marker. And see, I did leave a little bit of a white border on the girl, and so I did the same on the diamond. I left a little border on the diamond as well, so I think everything looks very cohesive. But look how cool that looks. This is a perfect paper for this diamond. Love it, love it, love it. Alright, I'm going to use a different sentiment other than the one that came in the stamp set. I'm using the Clean Lines Everyday stamp set by Simon Says Stamp and CZ Designs. And I always, when I talk to my relatives on Facebook that I don't get to see, I always say, you know, love you, miss you. And so I just thought the miss you, love you was perfect to send to my aunt. Because I do. I love him and I miss him. Just white heat embossing it. I have some black cardstock here by Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to use the Alabaster White Embossing Powder by Brutus Monroe. And I didn't press very hard when I closed my Misty lid there, because I've made that mistake before, and then it looks horrible. It looks blurry. It just, you know, because it makes the stamp bend a little bit. So on these really intricate lines like this, it's best to not press very hard at all. And I'm just going to wipe off that remaining anti-static powder after it cools down, of course. And I'm going to die cut these out. Love the dies to this, how it just fits the letters so perfectly. It hugs them or it cuddles them. Aw, so cute. Once I get these cut out, I decided I wanted to cut them out a few more times. I wanted to add a little bit of dimension there. So I'm going to cut each of those words out 3 more times, and then I will glue them all together. Or, you know, I could have also cut out some black craft foam. That would have worked too, but I don't know. I just thought it's a little bit more time consuming, but I feel you get a better end result. End result. No plural. So I'll spare you all of that there. So that took me a while to do. So there's 4 layers total. There's 3 just black layers and then the top layer. And I love this pattern paper too. This was in an old past Simon Says Stamp card kit. If it's still available, I will definitely put a link to it in the description below. I'm using my score tape because I really wanted this foam tape to stick to the glitter cardstock that I'm using. And I just find the score tape sticks really well. And the glitter cardstock I'm using is the Rose Gold by Simon Says Stamp, the 6x6 sheets. And I'm just doing a side folding card base for this one and gluing it with my Gina K Connect glue. And then I will glue all my little bits together. So I'm gluing my gal on first. Since I'm mailing this card, I wanted to make sure I had enough room for her. Make sure she doesn't hang over too far. But I wanted the diamond to hang off the pattern paper a little bit there. So just making sure I have enough room. And no offense to our postal services, but I don't trust them with this card. So I'm going to add a little bit of reinforcement to that diamond hanging off there, since it is going all the way across the United States. So I'm just gluing my sentiment in place. Make sure it ain't going to go anywhere. Make sure it's straight. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of craft foam to the back of the diamond. So I'm just going to trace out how much diamond I have hanging over there, and then I was supposed to go a little bit inside the line, but I ended up having to cut a little bit more. So I wasn't paying attention, obviously. I'll put some glue on both sides of the foam there, and then hold it in place until it dries. But this way, if it gets a little smashed in the mail, it won't ruin my diamond there. And I've had cards come back completely destroyed before. I even had one card somebody sent me. It came back and it was completely ripped in half. The whole top part of the card was missing. About half of the card was missing. No idea where it went. But anyway, that's my card. That's my close-up there. Wanted to show off that beautiful diamond and just to add a little extra sparkle. But I think this card has quite a bit of sparkle on it. But I'm using my Spectrum Noir glitter pen, and I'm just going over the flowers and the ruffles on her skirt there. And then I thought it would be a little kind of special to add a little bit of shimmer to the center of that flower. So I'm just taking a gel pen and adding some kind of clear sparkle to that as well. So pretty. I love how this turned out. Anyway, that is my card for this week. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I'll have all the items I use listed and linked in the video description below, and also over on my blog, where you can go if you want to see more pictures of this card and want instructions on how to join us for the Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. That's all over on my blog. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys next week. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Bye.